The supermarket buzzed with the usual noise of a busy afternoon, carts clattering, soft music from the speakers, the rhythmic beep of barcodes. Families laughed, couples argued gently over brands, and somewhere between the aisles of cereal and snacks, an 8-year-old girl clutched her pink teddy bear like her life depended on it. She walked beside a man in a gray hoodie. He looked calm on the surface, but his eyes darted around too often, scanning faces, watching exits. The girl's hand trembled slightly as she held the bear tighter. Her lips moved like she wanted to speak, but no words came out. She was terrified, and the fear in her small, pale face was easy to miss unless someone truly looked. When they reached aisle 7, she made a decision that took all her courage. She loosened her grip on the teddy and let it fall. It landed softly against the tile floor. The man frowned, his voice low but sharp. "Pick it up." Before she could, someone else reached it. A tall man in casual clothes, holding a small shopping basket. A police officer off duty, just running errands. "Here you go, sweetheart," he said kindly, bending down to hand it over. For a brief second, their eyes met. Hers were wide and glossy, filled with something he couldn't name. Not just fear, but a plea. His smile faded slightly as he looked down at the bear. Something about it felt strange. There was a tiny piece of paper taped to its paw. Curiosity made him peel it back.
Inside, in shaky, uneven letters, were the words,
"I don't know this man. Please help me." His heartbeat spiked. The world around him seemed to fade. The laughter, the music, the hum of voices, all gone. He looked up slowly. The man's hand was already gripping the girl's wrist again, pulling her toward the front of the store. "Come on," the man muttered, trying to sound casual but failing. The officer straightened, his eyes narrowing. His instincts flared alive. Every muscle tensed, but he forced himself to stay calm. He couldn't panic, couldn't make a scene. There was a child's life at stake. The girl looked back over her shoulder as they turned a corner. That single glance, and small, quick, desperate, said everything words couldn't. "Please don't let him take me." The officer slipped the note into his pocket, his jaw tightening. The sound of his cartwheels echoed faintly as he began walking after them, slow and steady, like a shadow. The beeps and chatter of the store continued, unaware that a silent cry for help had just been heard, and an ordinary trip for groceries had become the beginning of something life-changing. The officer moved quickly but quietly, weaving through aisles as if still shopping. His heart pounded, but his face stayed calm. The man and the little girl were near the frozen food section now, their reflection visible in the shiny glass doors. The girl's steps were uneven, her wrist still trapped in his firm grip. He pulled out his phone, keeping it low by his side. "Possible abduction," he whispered, voice steady but urgent. "Female child about 8, pink teddy bear, west exit following." The dispatcher replied, "Units on the way. Stay close." He slid the phone back into his pocket, pretending to browse as he watched them from a distance. Every instinct screamed to run and grab her, but he knew one wrong move could make the man bolt, or worse. The man's tone was sharp, low, controlling. "Don't slow down." The girl didn't reply, only looked straight ahead. Her tiny fingers clutched the teddy, her knuckles white. Her lips moved silently as if she was praying. Then it happened. A small motion that nearly broke the officer's composure. The girl lifted her hand slightly, folding her thumb into her palm and curling her fingers over it. The hand signal for help. Quiet, hidden, desperate. His heart froze for a beat. She knew what she was doing, and now so did he. The man noticed her movement and yanked her hand down roughly. "Stop that," he hissed. Her shoulders jerked in pain, but she didn't cry. The strength it took for her to stay silent almost shattered him. The officer's fingers brushed against his badge inside his jacket, grounding himself. He had to be patient, methodical. Every step, every breath mattered now. He watched them reach the end of the aisle. The man looked behind him briefly. Their eyes met, the officer's calm, unreadable. The man suspicious, twitchy. The moment passed, but tension filled the air like static before lightning. The girl looked back again, her eyes finding the officer's. There was hope there now, faint but alive. She knew someone had seen her. Someone was following. The officer's voice was low as he spoke into his mic again. "They're approaching the exit. Move in silent. I'll stay visual." The reply came instantly. "Copy that." 2 units near the lot. Shoppers passed between them. Carts full of groceries, children laughing, completely unaware that right beside them, A silent battle for a child's life was unfolding. The man gripped her hand tighter as they neared the automatic doors. "Hurry up," he muttered. The sunlight from outside spilled in through the glass, warm and bright, almost mocking the fear that followed them. The officer exhaled, slow and controlled. "They're outside," he whispered. He didn't need sirens or shouts, not yet. He just needed to follow and trust that the little girl's courage and his timing would be enough. Inside, the world carried on as if nothing had happened. But just outside those sliding doors, everything was about to change. The supermarket doors slid open as the man and the little girl stepped into the sunlight. Outside, carts rolled and engines hummed. The world unaware that danger walked among them. The man's pace quickened. His grip on her wrist tightened as they headed for a black sedan near the far end of the lot. "Keep moving," he muttered. The girl's breath shook. Her eyes searched desperately for the man from inside, the one who had read her note. Then she saw him. The off-duty officer stepped out of the store, badge clipped to his belt, phone to his ear. His voice was low. "Suspect West Side. Black sedan, moving in." Two unmarked cars eased into the lot, quiet and deliberate. The man hesitated, sensing eyes on him. "Get in," he snapped. The girl didn't move. Her small hands clenched the teddy bear tighter. A calm voice cut through the tension. "Sir, can I speak with you for a moment?" The man spun around. The officer stood just a few feet away, steady and composed. Their eyes met. For a long, thin second, the parking lot went silent. Then the man's nerves broke. He shoved the girl forward and tried to run. The child darted straight to the officer. He dropped to one knee, catching her safely behind him. "It's all right," he whispered. "You're safe now." Tires screeched. Police units boxed the suspect in. Officers shouted, "Hands up!" The man froze, defeated, hands trembling as cuffs clicked shut. The girl clung to the officer's shirt, tears streaking her cheeks. "I was so scared," she whispered. "I know," he said softly. "But you were brave. You did everything right." She looked up. "You saw my note?" He smiled gently. "I did, and I'll never forget it." Another officer draped a blanket over her shoulders. She hugged her teddy close, the same bear that had carried her message for help. The off-duty officer stood watching as the man was led away. He reached into his pocket and unfolded the tiny scrap of paper one last time. The shaky handwriting read, "I don't know this man. Please help me." He folded it carefully beside his badge. The little girl turned from the patrol car and gave him a faint wave. Sunlight glinted on his badge as he smiled back. A silent signal, a single note, and a child who refused to give up. That afternoon, in an ordinary parking lot, a small act of courage became a miracle.